If you can believe it, the Winnipeg Blue Bombers are 0-4. An overtime thriller, but disappointment for Winnipeg's fans because their football team found a way to turn the ball over in overtime and lose on a last second field goal in overtime. Welcome inside Game Day After Dark. Really appreciate all of you joining us live here on the show. My name is Darrin Bauming. Pleased to bring in Zach Schnitzer. How you doing, Schnitzy? You feeling all right after all this?
What a wild swing of emotions, buddy. Like, they were doing nothing in the fourth quarter. Nothing. They had abandoned the run even. They had Strevey dropping back and throwing. And sure enough, there's like a heart attack for us Bomber fans. And at the end of the fourth quarter, he basically ties it with no time left on a strike to Wolodarski, his buddy. And they've tied the game, and it's going to overtime. And then he throws a pick in the end zone.
It's a bit of a
No,
heartbreaking finish, of course, but the major news coming out of this game, Zach Collaros, injured in the first half, was able to come back into the game and later in the second quarter, emerged late to the Blue Bombers bench out of the locker room at or following halftime and put on the ball cap, did not play. What I noticed was Collaros when he emerged, and I'm going to pull it up right here so we can take a look at it while we're talking about it. As Collaros emerged from the Blue Bombers locker room at halftime, there he is. That is Dr. Gerald Olin. Dr. Olin is a chiropractor, the Blue Bombers team chiropractor. And to me, after seeing Zach Collaros take that shot like right in the chest, he missed 3 plays. He came back in. This was not a head injury. I understand people, watching Collaros laying on the turf with his eyes closed, wondering if, that's what the case was. Not the case. It was pretty clear to me that Collaros was hit in the chest. So overall, I think while he wasn't able to return to this game, it was. Oh, here's a quick look at the Bonfire Instagram page. Here's the hit in real time. You obviously don't see it there, but I'll jump ahead, and there's Collaros on the turf. Zach, what we saw from Zach Collaros is a lot of grit, a lot of toughness to come back into the game. But to me, this is an injury that is pure speculation. This is not an injury that is going to keep Zach Collaros out for a period of time. I really do believe that. We're going to get a good look from the TSN replay here. I really don't see this as a dirty hit. I don't see this as roughing the passer. This was clean from Josiah Coatney. Like, that's bang, bang. What you're seeing right there is a slowed down version of the play. There's Coatney, 348 pounds, by the way. That is bang, bang. You're watching a slowed down version of the play there. I don't see any supplemental discipline or anything like that. That's a clean football hit, plain and simple. But really scary, obviously, to see Zach Collaros down on the turf. Chris Streveler steps into the game. We'll take a look at the live stats in a second. Lots more video highlights to show you guys as well, as the Bombers lose 22-19 in overtime to the Stampeders to drop to 0-5.
yeah, no, a heart goes out to Zach. I hope for the best. And of course, everybody here at Bonfire hopes for the best for Zach Collaros. That's the main thing, just whether he's healthy. I was hoping it wasn't like a cracked rib or something, because it was a hard shot by a gigantic man. You read 348 pounds. Like, imagine someone just smoking you like that. Like, and it was a good, clean hit. Like, there was nothing egregious there. I think you're right, DB.
Yeah.
But just a scary moment for Zach Collaros, and his safety really trumps everything else that we have to say tonight. That being said, did the Bombers lose that much on offense? At that point, Zach had thrown for 55 yards and a pick, and the first quarterback to throw a touchdown pass this year for the Bombers is Chris Streveler with 26 seconds left in the fourth quarter of the fourth game.
Yeah.
So I'm also thinking about that.
Well, I've got some highlights of Chris Streveler. And apologies for the fuzzy footage here. It's just the way the TSN feed came through and my ability to record. But here's Zach Collaros returning to the game with 2:39 remaining in the second quarter. Winnipeg leading 6-4 in a hockey game with regards to the score at this point. Chris Streveler, to me, made mistakes, showed some bad things, showed some good things. But it was the pressure of the Calgary Stampeders that really got to Chris Streveler. When he was pressured, he was ineffective. In particular, that interception in overtime by Demario Houston. They brought the house.
And he struggled with pressure. I wish he hadn't thrown that football, Darren. And I have to say the game story could be Collaros, that he got knocked out of this game, and I hope you're right that he comes back next game.
It absolutely is.
But doesn't the other part of the game story also come from the offensive side of the football? And I'd like to see the stats in the second half. I know they ran Brady, I think, 10 times in the first half, Darren. Mm-hmm. How many times did they rush Brady in the second half, especially at the end? And then in overtime, the guy didn't get the ball. And I have to wonder, what is going on here? Should be the bread and butter of this team. He only had a 3-yard average per carry, Darren, in the first half. Yeah. He also had some choice words. Maybe you can elucidate those for the fans. I didn't hear what he said, but apparently there was some bulletin board material from Brady before the game, at the end of last game, saying that they need to give him the ball more. Maybe someone in the chat can
look, I don't know if you'd call that bulletin board material or like a call
for the Bombers
job.
It is.
Hey,
I'm sorry, Darren, but for the Bombers, for a tight knit, buttoned up, conservative. You never hear stuff like that from the Bombers ever.
All that is a guy saying, "I want the ball more."
I know.
And here's the thing that you're suggesting tonight, not speculating, pardon me. You're suggesting tonight that the Bombers went away from Brady Oliveira, went away from the run game. I understand that perspective. I saw it more as Calgary not allowing Winnipeg to run the football, especially in the second half when they knew Chris Streveler was going to be the guy. Look, if you're an opposing defense and you got to face Chris Streveler at quarterback, this is what you do. Force him to throw the football. I think everybody knows that. That's how you limit and stop Chris Streveler. And that's what Calgary did. So Winnipeg went away from the run. I didn't see it as them going away from Brady Oliveira particularly.
I thought there were times where Calgary only rushed 3 or 4 guys and dropped back guys into coverage, daring Chris Streveler to try and be accurate.
Let's take a look
most of the time he wasn't.
I didn't mean to interrupt. Here's some footage from overtime as you continue. Go ahead, Schnitzy.
Oh yeah, is this? Well, no. I just I was gonna say, I thought there were times where they wanted Streveler to throw, but they dropped a bunch of guys back in coverage even on first down, and I thought, why aren't they running the ball with Brady even once just to have the threat of the run? We all know that Streveler is extremely effective if he can, have the run pass option going, right, with the play action game.
Here's the first
play I didn't see enough of it in the second half.
Here's the first play of overtime. And look at the box. 6 guys. 7 come. 7. I'll bring it back. Here's the first play of overtime. This is a little bit later in overtime. This is with Winnipeg in the red zone. Okay? When they're trying to score a touchdown. And look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4 down. Dozier off the edge, 5. Linebacker 6. Linebacker 7. All there. And Streveler has to roll out and try to throw the football. He's unable to do it. That was 1st and 10. Let's go to 2nd and 10 on the Calgary 16. Again, pardon the fuzzy footage. Bringing it. bringing everybody picked off. So I'll find some footage from a little bit earlier that shows them playing a real run-stopping defense. And by run-stopping, I mean not allowing Winnipeg to really want to run the football. Brady Oliveira finished 10 carries for 26 yards, had 5 catches on 6 targets for 37 yards, including a large of 11.
Did you say he had 10 carries?
Yeah.
Did he have 10 carries in total?
Yeah.
Darrin, I think he had 10 carries in maybe early in the third quarter. Or even in the I don't know, did they run the ball in the second half with Brady Oliveira? Did they feed him the ball even once? I think he had 10 carries in the first half.
I'm going to take a look here.
And I get what you're saying. If they're loading the box and they're daring Streveler to run or throw, rather.
Brady Brady Oliveira had 8 carries for 23 yards. He finished with 10 for 26. So
they ran him twice in the entire second half.
Streveler had 2 carries in the second half, and that's it.
I think you're right. I think they probably loaded the box quite a bit, but it's still a pretty glaring stat to run the ball with your tailback, with your West Division MOP tailback who's champing at the bit.
But if you got,
Darrin, I'm not saying
Brady's going to get stuffed. Doesn't matter how good you are.
I hear you. I hear you. But if there's no threat of the run,
how about this? If there's no threat of the pass, stuff the run. They didn't allow them to run because there wasn't a threat of a pass. Chris Streveler went 58% passing for 170 yards in, a bit over a half of football. 58%, 14 to 24. His longest completion was 21 yards.
I get it. And I think you're right. I think you have a good point. I think they probably stuffed the box a fair bit, but still to have 2 there had to be some first down plays out there where they weren't stuffing the box. 2 carries? Maybe I'm reading too much into this, Darrin, but I think there's something rotten. I don't think Brady's 100%. First of all, he had a 3-yard average in the first half.
No.
I don't think he's 100%. There was no production. There was no production from him in the first half, Darrin.
I disagree.
3-yard average.
Look, coming into today, the Bombers were 0-3. Zach Collaros had a handful of interceptions, no touchdowns, had nowhere near 250-yard games, nowhere near 300-yard games. Collaros wasn't his usual self. And Brady missed week 2, played week 1. They got pummeled, missed week 2, played week 3. They got beat again. And the I think opposing defenses know. Let's force the Blue Bombers with no Kenny Lawler, no Dalton Schoen, no Carrick Wheatfall, who had 111 yards in his CFL debut week 2, filling in for Kenny Lawler. None of those guys. Let's force them to pass the football because Brady is a $250,000 football player per season and a stud. And dare Chris Streveler to throw the football. Easy. To me, that's an easy mentality to take.
Yeah. I agree. I think if I was the DC of the Calgary Stampeders or any team playing Streveler or Collaros, that's what you want to do. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. I just thought, I'm not saying, this week it wasn't play calling issues for the first time, right? There was no play calling issues in the last 2 close losses, play calling issues. They didn't have any play calling issues. I'm sure you're right that they were stacking the box a lot, but all I'm saying is he had a, 3-yard average is not good for Brady Oliveira. Were they stacking the box as much in the first half? I don't think so, quite as much as in the second.
If you run the ball 8 times in the first half and 2 times in the second half with your number 1 quarterback out and somebody in Chris Streveler who's not really a pass threat, and you're talking about average yards per carry, to me that stat, it's a good stat, but contextually it's not a good stat to look at in a game like this. Like you're talking about Brady Oliveira not being 100% and not being effective. I'm talking about Brady Oliveira not giving, the defense completely focusing on him. How's he supposed to do anything?
I don't know that the defense completely focused on him in the first half. I saw him. I don't know, man. I'd have to rewatch it, but I still think there's something going on there.
Mm-hmm.
I do. I think there's something going on there.
Okay.
Give me the ball more. Guy gets the ball more. He wanted the ball more, Darrin. And, eight carries is a significant amount in the CFL in a first half and a half. 8 is pretty good.
They were trying to go to him in the first half. Wasn't working.
It wasn't working. Now, was Calgary stuffing the box, or is he just not hitting the holes, or were there no holes? It's hard to know. It's hard to know. I'd have to go back and look, and maybe people in the chat can weigh in on this, because from what I saw, Brady wasn't getting much. And I think you're right, though, Darrin. Like in the past, they might stack the box on the Bombers too, but they were getting big runs. That's why Brady was a West MOP. Surely they were stacking the box last year too. And Brady was still getting yards, tons of yards. Well, that's harsh, Rich Dunlop. I don't think DB. Maybe he's looking like Biden like 3 years ago, but not Biden from the other day.
Yeah.
That was brutal, by the way.
Unlike those guys, I am not on performance-enhancing drugs. Let's take a look at the stats from Winnipeg's 22-19 loss tonight. And firstly, as we're talking about it, let's talk about the offense. And here, I'll focus in on Winnipeg's. There's Chris Streveler going 58% for 170 yards, a touchdown, an interception, quarterback efficiency rating of 76.7, which brings in a lot of measurables in calculating that out of 129.3 or whatever it is. Zach Collaros went 8 of 12 for 55 yards, no touchdowns, threw the one pick. Brady Oliveira, 10 carries for 26 yards. There's your 2.6 average. You were talking about Schnitzy. Streveler, 6 carries for 27. Sheehan, I'm going to pull up that highlight a little bit later. The Jamison Sheehan fake punt, whether it was designed or not, because
didn't he do that in the preseason, Darrin? Didn't he do that in the preseason? Didn't he have a big run like that in the preseason on a special teams blunder? I seem to remember that now. I know the preseason is fairly forgettable.
I don't know if it was that Maestro Giuseppe.
Oh, anyway. Yes, you're right. Sorry.
Nick Dembski, 6 catches on 10 targets. Obviously, the popular target for the Blue Bombers today, 54 yards, averaging 9 yards per catch, which, that is the short pass game. That's kind of what Nick Dembski's bread and butter is. Obviously, he takes those deep shots every once in a while. 2 second down conversions. Yeah. I thought he played a pretty dang good football game. Brady had 5 catches for 37 yards, averaging 7.4 yards per catch, including 1 second down conversion. And 28 of those 37 yards were yak yards. So you give Brady Oliveira a little bit of space. What's 28 divided by 5? It's a pretty nice chunk. Nice chunk. Drew Wolotarski had the touchdown. We'll pull up that video highlight a little bit later. 4 catches on 6 targets for 43 yards. And you can see the rest here. Josh Johnson dropped 1, was missed a couple times. And I want to watch that one right now. Schnitzy, he's got 3 options. Calgary's going to bring some pressure. This pass from Chris Streveler to Josh Johnson was just plain off the mark. This is a very completable football. I am not a football expert, but I watch a lot of football. I analyze a lot of football. I will just go out on a limb, because I am careful in doing this, Schnitzy. I will go out on a limb and just say, Chris Streveler needs to make this pass.
Yeah, I agree. He missed some layups.
Like, that's a wide open receiver on a crossing route with time. Lots of time.
Yeah, he had lots of time. That would have been about at least a 15-yard play right there.
And a lot of people might be like, Bauming, what are you talking? Why do you got to say you got to go out on a limb? You have to understand that as a small J journalist, okay, not a
You're
capital
a big
J.
J. You're a big
No,
J.
I'm not. A small J
I'm the only
journalist.
J here.
Stop, please. A small J journalist covering sports. I don't just throw criticism at people. It has to be evident. There has to be evidence. There has to be reason. There has to be context. So I don't just say he was bad, this was wrong. Sometimes you don't know. In football, you sometimes do not know whether the receiver made a mistake, the O-line blocked the wrong way, the defense did something impressive, or whatever. Okay, so that's why I'm a little bit more careful, because I'm trying to remain
As you
responsible.
should be. You also have to talk to these guys after practice every week, all week.
Yeah.
Right? I can say whatever dithering, wanton garbage juice that comes out of my mouth. I can say it as much as I want, DB, and that's who I am on Bonfire Sports. I'm Schnitzy. I'm no journalist. I'm just an idiot fan who Darrin lets come on this program for reasons unknown, Darrin.
Just remember, though, you are saying it on Bonfire Sports, right? Here's
I
Jake
am
Maier,
saying it on Bonfire Sports.
Okay.
Thank God. I don't know why you let me.
65% Jake Maier went today. 239 yards, a touchdown, a pick. Dedrick Mills, 3.2 yards per carry, which
I thought the Baumer defense did an exceptional job against the run tonight, Darrin. Our defense in the past 4 games have kept us in all games. The defense has given us a chance to win in all 4 games.
Yep. Mark and Michelle, popular target tonight, as was Reggie Begelton. And I mean, Reggie, they tried to find him on some deep shots, weren't able to get there, but 50 yards, 7 catches on 14 targets. But Mark and Michelle, look, 75 doesn't sound like a lot, but when you convert 3 second downs, score, and your longest is 11 yards.
Yeah, and he had some good yak there.
9 for
39 yards of yak.
Yeah.
39 yards of yak. Yeah.
Pretty nice.
Pretty good.
Would love to get your thoughts in the live chat tonight. Wherever you're watching, if you want the full experience, head over to youtube.com/Bonfire Sports. You can find us on all our social media channels too, at Bonfire WPG, Bonfire Winnipeg, of course, and links to everything, bonfiresports.ca. If you're listening on the podcast, thank you for joining. I'm sure you're subscribed, and you can leave a comment in your podcast app. We'd appreciate that. And Schnitzy, for those out there that don't know, we do not want people hitting that thumbs up. Already 31 degenerates out there, now 32 who've hit the thumbs up. You know how much I don't like that.
Oh my God. Darrin, there's smoke coming out of your ears. You look very angry. You look very uncomfortable. By the way, folks, for those who are wondering, Darrin sent me the super chat money. He sent me, and I went right to the Baumer store. with my super chat money. So thank you for donating.
Wade can thank me later. No, obviously, big thanks to everybody out there.
Yes, thank you
for the support, and should mention, of course, our good friends at Scotswood Links. They are an incredible group of people with an incredible golf course, just 30 minutes outside the city. Look at that. Gorgeous. Check them out. Scotswoodlinks.com. That's Scotswood with 1 T, scotswoodlinks.com. Prairie Meadow front 9, Prairie Forest back 9, challenging, dynamic, in really, really, really good shape. I talk to the family out there, the citizens that run Scotswood Links often about the condition of their course. This is just a snapshot of a few holes. It is beautiful and really, really close to Winnipeg. So be sure to check them out, and you can get a nice little discount too. If you go to scotswoodlinks.com/bonfire, you'll get a coupon or a bit of a bonus as Ruby, the bonfire dog, chimes in. Schnitzy, are you still there? I think you're still there.
I am there. Yeah. I'm in the woods. I'm in the woods.
You are in the woods. Pardon me. Scotswoodlinks.com, Scotswood with one T, scotswoodlinks.com/bonfire. You'll get a discount on a foursome with power cards. Ruby, it's okay. It's okay. Ruby is upset. The
It's not
Bombers are
okay.
0-4. The run game couldn't
They're
get
0-4,
going. Zach
Ruby.
Collaros shaken up. And everybody in the live chat, I would love to know how you're feeling right now about the Blue Bombers. Do you like, are you encouraged somewhat, or are you writing this team off? I think it's foolhardy, Schnitzy, to write this team off. I really do.
I would agree with that. Listen, I thought they showed promise. I thought it was really exciting and impressive and frankly surprising, Darrin, the way Streveler had been playing up to that point. For them to be able to march down the entire field and tie the game with 26 seconds left or whatever it was, and they had a shot in overtime. They had a decent drive going. They had a first down, and unfortunately Calgary brought the blitz at the perfect time, and Strevy threw it. Maybe he should have just eaten that one. I think Calgary, you gotta credit Brent Monson for dialing up a blitz at the right time and forcing Strevy to be uncomfortable. But I don't think you can write the team off. They've been close in Ottawa. They could have easily won that game. They were first and goal from the 7. They threw 3 times in a row. We disagreed about those calls. They were close in BC. They were mere inches from Dembski catching a corner route that would have been a touchdown that would have won them the game. Instead, they decide to punt it, Darrin. So this is 3 games in a row where the Bombers have been close. I guess all I can say to put a bow on my diatribe here is that these are games they used to win.
Yeah.
These are games they used to win, even if they didn't deserve to. You remember that game a couple of years ago where Zach Collaros had 7 completions against Edmonton? One of them was like a 100-yard touchdown to Schoen. Like last year in Calgary, because they always play Calgary close. Demario Houston had a pick 6. They won 19-18. They usually were getting these wins, and they're just not getting them this year. And you could say that's injuries. You could say that's execution, play calling, whatever you want. I think it's a combination of things, buddy. I don't think this team has just fallen off a cliff, but they're just not winning these close games.
Winnipeg's next 2 games, home to Ottawa on July 5th and home to Calgary on July 12th, as I check my schedule across the desk here. So 2 opponents that they've played already are their next 2 games. Then they've got the Saskatchewan Roughriders in Regina in mid-July, and then at Toronto, home to BC to kind of round out the first half of the season. But at 0-4, you know that criticism of this team is warranted, and you know that criticism of this team, the almighty, no more Winnipeg Blue Bombers, who have been to 4 straight Grey Cups and were expected to be amongst the upper echelon in the CFL again this year, winless as we enter July, which I don't think anybody expected. Schnitzy, let's get into WALBY'S Warrior, Westwood wide to the right, our happy honker, as well as our game balls. And I always forget one. No, that's it. Oh, of course, the Bonfire Burning Point. Let's start with WALBY'S Warrior. Who you got today?
Honestly, Darrin, my WALBY'S Warrior is Sergio Castillo.
Oh, okay.
I know he's a kicker, but that guy hit a 60-yard field goal with a few yards to spare, which was a huge field goal in the game. It made it 18-12, and it made it, brought it back to a 1-score game, which the Bombers would ultimately tie the game, Darrin, after Calgary got the single. And I thought that was just a massive, massive play. I thought I could give the WALBY'S Warrior to the entire special teams tonight, Darrin. I thought the special teams were the best phase of the Bombers tonight. I know the defense kept them in it, but I thought Chris Smith had some good returns. He had a couple good returns. I thought their kick coverage was excellent, and punt coverage was excellent. And I thought Castillo was money, like a 60-yarder. Even if he had the win, he broke a Bombers franchise record for longest field goal. I think it was 57 prior to that. Might have been Medlock. I just thought it was an incredible play and worthy of an award.
I like that. I like that one. I'm going to give WALBY'S Warrior to Zach Collaros. When people talk about, like, when it's said, oh, he had the wind knocked out of him, a lot of people are like, oh, so he's not hurt. He's okay. He just had the wind knocked out of him. Getting the wind knocked out of you by a 348-pound defensive tackle, or getting the wind knocked out of you by a 200-pound linebacker, doesn't matter. It friggin' hurts. And Collaros was laying there on the turf, eyes closed, people fearing the worst, and then saying, well, okay, what's going on here? When you get the wind knocked out of you that way, the trainers are wondering, did they break, does he have a punctured lung? Does he have broken ribs? Did he tear abdominal tissue? It could be, or could have been, very bad. To see him come out, a little bit delayed out of halftime, be on the bench for his teammates, be there, still in uniform, didn't get undressed and, dressed in street clothes. Zach Collaros, that's my WALBY'S Warrior tonight. You got a Westwood wide to the right?
Westwood wide to the right. Well, this is maybe ticky-tack on my part, Darren, but in the end of the second half, or first half, the Bombers were 2nd and 4, and they had Collaros drop back, and they had a lot of pressure. And I thought, and they didn't get it, and they had to kick. And I thought, that is I just have thought they've underutilized Chris Streveler, Darren. I think he is extremely effective as a change of pace quarterback who can also be a runner. And on 2nd and 4, Streveler was averaging 4.5 yards a rush. Just you could even do a straight quarterback draw or a design run. You're probably going to get at least 3.5 yards. And I get frustrated when they continue to underutilize a guy that is such a weapon. I'm not saying he should be your starting quarterback, and he can't sustainably win you football games throwing from the pocket. But use him in the way that you could use him. The Bomber, I thought I put on Twitter or X.
I feel like you're meditating right now. You got your eyes closed. You're just, just a bit of a diatribe. I say that in a friendly way, about more Chris Streveler. I like it.
Do you like it though? You're
like
saying
the way you're delivering it, because your eyes are closed and you're just speaking from the heart, man. I disagree.
I am speaking from the heart.
I disagree.
Darren, on 2nd and 4, he's probably going to get you 3.5 yards.
On a stack box?
You can run him on the... I don't think they were stacking the box necessarily on 2nd and 4.
I'm telling you that Calgary... look, when you got Mike Rose, you got Josiah Coatney, who had a heck of a football game. You got Vaughters. You got Micah Awe and Cam Judge and Brandon Dozier as the dimebacker. He's in the box too. They were not allowing Winnipeg to get into their bread and butter. Like, I was on CGOB in the pregame show. I've been filling in for Ted Wyman as he continues to recover, and Teddy is doing well, everybody.
That's great.
An update on that. In good spirits and getting better every day. But the reality is, Winnipeg, we all knew and said Winnipeg needs to run the football. They need to really focus on that, and everything will grow from that, because the offense has been struggling. So what do? You get back down to basics and fundamentals and run the football. You got Chris Streveler, you got Nick Dembski, you got Brady Oliveira. And you don't think Calgary knew that? I thought Calgary's game plan, similar to BC's game plan, and definitely Montreal's game plan week 1, out-schemed the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, out-game planned them, because they had an answer for everything Winnipeg tried to do. And then down goes Zach Collaros, and it's like, okay, you want to, use a lot of Chris Streveler on 2nd and 4 or 1st and 10 or whatever. They weren't having it.
Well, they weren't having it. I just think on 2nd and 4, there's a lot you can do. You're not necessarily going to just run Streveler. You can run Brady, but if they're stacking the box, you can fake the run to Brady and you can throw it. I just think and you're going to have one-on-one coverage.
When
I
you
just think
stack the
there's a
box,
lot.
though, you don't have time to fake. They're coming.
Well, that's if they're blitzing. They might also be run blitzing where they're trying to fill all the gaps and try to stop you.
Exactly.
If you're stacking the box, right? But I'm
If
saying
you're
if you're going to
facing
stack the
Chris
box, there's
Streveler,
going to be.
bring it. Run blitz,
But
regular blitz, like stunts, off the edge,
I'm
through the middle,
But every time you
outman
stack
them.
the box doesn't mean you're rushing the quarterback. Stacking the box is stopping the run too.
Yeah, but they're attacking the line of scrimmage. So either they're going to find a runner or they're going to continue towards the quarterback, right? And
Right.
contain
But if
being not allowing the quarterback to get outside. That's all they're doing. They're playing that contain
I
and heavy
understand
up
that,
front.
but you're going to have one-on-one coverage. Yes, he has to get it out quickly, but I just think there's a different dynamic you can bring with Streveler. Maybe we're beating a dead horse here, but I think there's a different dynamic. I saw them use him a little bit more to my taste today. I forget what it was, but there was a big play he had where he just had a designed run and he got like 9 yards. And I just thought, the Calgary wasn't expecting it. Anyway, but give Streveler credit. He passed the ball down the field, Darrin, and tied this game
He
from
did.
the pocket. I will give him credit for that.
Let's take a look at it. This is the game tying drive with Chris Streveler coming out with 94 seconds remaining in regulation. Schnitzy, we'll get to the bonfire burning point in a second. Let's get into the happy honker for tonight.
Oh, the sound effect worked to perfection.
Oh, I've been
Perfection.
I've been tweaking it.
Good job, DB.
I've been fixing it up.
You're only improving, and the Bombers, I don't know if they're improving, but
oh, look at Chris Streveler.
Oh yeah. There you go.
You want to take another?
There you go. You're gonna get 5 yards on that, right?
They got
mind you, they weren't stacking the box there.
They got 6 on
the
line.
6. Yeah. So they're stacking the box.
2.
Is that stacking the box?
They dropped 2. They're showing 6. They drop 2. That's Dozier and Awe dropping, and nothing's open. They're daring Chris Streveler to throw the football, and nothing's open, so he takes off. That's not a designed run. That is a broken
I'm not saying
play.
it's a design run, but I'm saying that's what Streveler can do.
That's
Streveler
a broken
can do
pass
that, though.
play. So picks up 5 yards. Here's 2nd and 5. Well, they got a whistle.
Those penalties. Oh, my God.
Procedure on offense.
Those, I mean, you could easily argue that a wide to the right, Darrin, could have been the number of inopportune penalties by the Bombers. Now, I know a lot of them was when Streveler came in and he's your backup, but there was procedure calls and offside calls. And I know they have a lot of new guys in there, and that's going to happen. So I kind of give them a free pass. That's why it wasn't my Westwood's wide to the right, because a lot of them were on offense where these guys just haven't had the reps or chemistry together yet. But it was unfortunate.
So that penalty put them back 5 yards, negated Streveler's run of 5. This left them 2nd and 10. And, what do you know? They're bringing pressure again. This time showing 6, bringing 6. And the O-line did a really good job with Brady to protect 5-on-5 plus the running back, made it 6-on-6. And they get Josh Johnson for about 9 yards. So they're moving the chains at this point, and it was a nice drive. It was a 8-play, 74-yard drive that lasted less than a minute when they had a minute 34.
I was impressed with it.
This is 3rd and 1. And look at the box.
Yeah,
Everybody near the line of scrimmage. They give it to Brady. And look, that's a nicely designed run play. I will be honest. This is a very, very good play call.
Well, he goes off tackle, right?
He picks up 3 yards. That's what he averaged. Okay, so you pick up the first down. That's nice. You got to move the chains. You're now on Winnipeg's on their own 49. And forcing Streveler to throw the football, and there's Ontario Wilson, who has been I don't know, less than spectacular, I would say, uh, in his CFL debut season. Now has 4 games under his belt. 1st and 10 now from the Calgary 50. So they pick up 11 yards to Wilson. Now, this is one of the better throws Chris Streveler makes. Really nice catch and run to Kevins Clercius, the Canadian rookie.
Yeah.
And Streveler given time. So that is a positive there. Here, I'll pull that one back. Streveler had time. Because what's Calgary doing? They're showing, 4, and they got 2 linebackers. So there's time for Chris Streveler, and he beats the zone. That's a nice window to throw the football into.
Yeah, and Clercius does well to sit in there too, right?
Yeah. I don't know if a happy honker tonight. I mean, Adam Bighill hits 900 career tackles.
That's pretty cool.
I'll give him my happy honker.
And I think and that's a good one. I will give my happy honker to Jamison Sheehan for that 18. I don't know. Is it a fake? Is it not a fake? What is going on there with that play, Darren? Was it a fake?
First and 10, Winnipeg now on the Calgary 29, and that's a nice throw from Streveler too. A little bit behind Nick Dembski, but also trying to keep it away from the defenders. So Streveler showed some good things, and they're daring him to pass, and he did okay.
Yeah, he did okay. I mean, he didn't do any worse than Collaros had. What was Collaros' trajectory in that game? 55
I would say he did worse
passing.
than Collaros.
Collaros was, but not markedly worse.
Not markedly worse, no. But
which is not a ringing endorsement of Zach Collaros in this game, Darren.
This season, Zach Collaros has not been good.
No, he wasn't. I mean, he had 55 yards and a pick halfway through the second quarter. It's just not going to get it done.
This is still the game-tying drive. And again, pardon the blurriness, but that's how the feed came through today. 1st and 10 from the 16. Streveler, 2 nice completions on his last 2 throws. There he has an opportunity to run it. It's 1st and 10. 43 seconds left. He could have picked up a ton there. Decides to throw the football, gets it to Wolitarsky, and Wally celebrating after catching a touchdown off the arm of his college teammate as the 2. Both Chris Streveler and Drew Wolitarsky were receivers at the University of Minnesota together.
That's awesome. Yeah, he definitely has that chemistry with Wally, buddy?
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, and actually, as you show this drive again, and it's so awesome that we have these video highlights for people that are watching. And if you're thinking of watching it again on podcast, consider rewatching it on YouTube because there's a lot of great highlights. And what it showed to me is like his 3 passes there in a row where he threw low and away, like he was throwing it away from the DBs and they were catching it off the carpet. Yeah, I mean, that to me is good ball placement.
Yeah, I would say it's okay ball placement, not incredibly accurate. I think it's good ball placement for Chris Streveler and his skill set.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah,
just being careful, right? Being careful to not turn the ball over when you need a touchdown to tie the game. And, at this point, 37 seconds left and they're tied up at 19. Yeah, I mean, was going to mention. We have got video chapters now. So if you are listening to the podcast or joining us late or watching this late, go into the video description, or you can just find it on kind of the scrubber bar, the play bar on YouTube, and you can go right to the different chapters, to get to the parts that you want to talk about, that you want to hear about, and keep hitting up the live chat and the comments section. Appreciate that a lot. And now we're at 52 people who have not been listening to me to not hit the thumbs up. Don't appreciate that. It's no good.
You're making Darren very angry.
Very, very angry.
Which makes me very happy because we like to be opposites, as you know, folks.
You got a bonfire burning point tonight?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like this one's fairly obvious. Or maybe it's not fairly obvious, but I mean, you go to overtime, it's a coin flip game, right? And unfortunately, the Bombers have been losing these coin flip games of late. And it was the full blitz by Calgary. Great play call by Brent Monson. Hey, Darrin, to just put Streveler under pressure. He thinks, okay, I've got Dembski one-on-one in the end zone. Let's loft it up. But he couldn't even step into the throw. He short arms it, and none other than former Baumer All-Star Demerio Houston picks it off. And usually in overtime, if you pick someone off, that's pretty much game over. Except, of course, Calgary then gets the 15-yard unnecessary roughness penalty, so they have to start on their 50, which is why Paredes had to hit a 52-yarder. But I thought that was the burning point. That was game over.
I'm just going to show this again. Here's the Zach Collaros interception in the second quarter by Clarence Hicks. And he ends up fumbling it, but not a great throw from Collaros as he continues to look for his first touchdown this season. Here's another look at it. Hicks coming off the edge here. And
it's a good play by Hicks.
Ends up dropping into coverage. And Collaros probably not expecting that defense. Like, this is Willie Jefferson.
Yeah.
Textbook play.
Yeah.
Coming off the edge and dropping into a blind spot, because Collaros is, I'm not saying he's telegraphing his passes. That's a different thing. But he is looking left because it's a quick shot. And Hicks, as a defensive end, not expected to be there. So good defensive play call. And ultimately an error from the Blue Bombers quarterback. I don't even know what Zach Collaros is at this season as far as interceptions, but no touchdowns and a bunch of interceptions. So this is my bonfire burning point tonight. If I get a chance to pull it up before it runs. 12:20 remaining in the fourth quarter, and the Bombers trailing by 2. You are without your starting quarterback, and the defense, when they need to be sharp. I'm not hanging the whole game on the defense, but just the burning point here is when Calgary went 8 plays, Calgary went 9 plays, 58 yards, and capped it with this Markin Michel touchdown. That is not a blown coverage, my friends. That right there is a very well-designed pick play. Watch these 2 receivers at the top of your screen. There's a reason why one of them's hands go up in the air. I'm not picking him.
Yeah.
He's picking him.
Now, on the broadcast, Glenn Suter said that would have been Holmes' responsibility to switch off and gets there late. But I think it is. He gets there late, but I mean, it's pretty hard. He has to bend all the way around the inside guy to go to the outside. That's pretty impossible. I think it's just well executed.
Watch Holmes. The ball's not even out yet, and Holmes already turned his hips and started running towards the receiver. Ball's not even out yet. Holmes reads it well, but with the spacing Winnipeg has here, there's enough time and space. And that pick working to not just take out, that's Tyrell Ford, but also being a barrier between Holm and Michel. Like, he's got to go around them, right?
Exactly. It's the bend around them.
It's a nice,
great play.
Design. Yeah. Hey, sometimes I know fans struggle with this. Sometimes
we don't struggle. I never struggle with anything.
The conversations I have with fans, this guy screwed up and this guy made a mistake. And these guys stink and these guys need to be better. Sometimes the other team does something really good.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, like when the Bombers went to 4 straight Grey Cups, is that because all the other teams in the league just continued to stink against Winnipeg? No, Winnipeg did good things.
Yeah, I miss those days.
Yeah. Well, it
I miss those days, Darren.
makes you appreciate.
We're 0-4. Sorry, I keep cutting you off. I'm just so flabbergasted, buddy.
No, hey, I get it. That's my
0-4.
bonfire burning point, though.
That's a great burning point. It's better than my burning. You win the award for burning point. Actually, you win the award for
I
the
want it.
awards tonight.
I
I
want
just
it.
don't even think my awards are that good.
I
But
don't
Darren, the
like it.
last time we were 0-4 was 2012. 2012 was a horrible year. That's the year that they were supposed to start in IG Field, which is or
Wins.
Investors Group Field. They went 0-4 to start that season, and I like we're not that bad. Like that's the paper bag days of being a Bomber fan. That's the end of the Joe Mack era. That was brutal. That's Tim Burke, I believe, came in halfway through. I mean, that was the 52-0 year at Labor Day. Like, that's not what we're looking at, is it? Because we're 0-4. Like, you have to be doing a lot of bad things wrong to go 0-4. There may be different ways you lost the game: offense, defense, special teams, play calling. You go 0-4, you've found a bunch of different ways to lose games. And one of those ways is injuries. And that's not an excuse, but it's an explanation for some of the difficulty, right? Like Calgary came in, I heard on your pregame, they had one injury, one guy, one starter.
They're
I mean,
healthy.
they were
Trey
healthy.
Dukes, receiver.
Right, right. And he's not exactly, I think he's the fourth or fifth receiver. So yeah, it's not good right now in Bomberline, dude.
Yep. I think Trey Dukes is a star receiver, but Clark Barnes has been playing really well. They've got the Philpott brother, maybe not quite Jalen, but still very good. Mark and Michelle with his speed, elusivity, and then Reggie Begelton obviously is an incredible player. Yes, Jalen Philpott. Pardon me. That is the Calgary
I get them
Stampeders.
confused. Damn those Philpotts.
Quickly, here's a look at a play early in the second quarter where Calgary was bringing it. And I know there was a flag on the play, but this is a sack of Zach Collaros from Cam Judge. There's Judge creeping off the edge and just too quick for Eric Lofton as far as what's coming at him. Watch the right tackle.
Yeah. Is that even Lofton's problem? Like there's too many guys to block there. What's he supposed to do? Chip him? Like then he has got to take the inside guy? Like what are you supposed to do there?
There's 5 coming. Okay. And what I see is the middle linebacker. I think that's Awe, or maybe it's Dozier. Oh no. They've taken their defensive end. How about this? They've taken their defensive end. This is Clarence Hicks, 74, playing middle linebacker. And then here's Cam Judge playing Hicks' spot on defensive end. And what they end up doing is using Mike Rose, who's just inside of Cam Judge. And he ends up taking the same player that this defensive tackle is playing. That's the right guard, which leaves them kind of double stacked. And just watch the right side of the Blue Bombers offensive line. It's too much, and then it's too late. And Calgary just did a very good job at the line of scrimmage tonight. Hicks and Coatney, Rose, Judge, they were very good.
And Hauser plays there too, right? Hauser's a good player too. Yeah, they've got a good D line. They have they actually do, maybe right up there in the tops of the league, in their front 7, Calgary. I think they're pretty darn good. Awe and Judge and Dozier. Those are all good players, and they've got a good secondary too. They're a very good team on defense, which shocks me that the Bombers put up 19 points, but they did. I thought, if I have to give the Bombers some laurels, I thought, for a team that had that many injuries, Darren, going on the road, I know we always play Calgary close. I thought they actually, overall, they showed some moxie with that last drive to even get it to overtime. Your starting quarterback goes down. It's frustrating because on the one hand, they're 0-4. On the other hand, there's 3 games that they just have easily could have won. 3 out of the first, like the Montreal game, they got their doors blown off.
Yep.
Okay, they didn't deserve to win that game at all.
Like, did you see Montreal Toronto last night?
Yes, I did.
Juggernaut right now.
Montreal reminds me of the 2021 Winnipeg Blue Bombers. The Bombers in 2019, just like Montreal did last year, came out of nowhere, had to go on the road to win the Grey Cup. They were against a heavily favored team with a sparkling record. And Montreal, just like the Bombers in 2019, wins last year. And then the next year, they come out like gangbusters. And they are blowing teams away. And they were leading Ottawa 30-1 in the first half a couple weeks ago, right? They beat a very good Toronto team. Montreal is an exceptional team, and I know they don't have the historic defensive numbers yet that Winnipeg did that year, Darren. But watch out for Montreal. They do not have a weakness. I don't see a chink in the armor in that team.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Here's the interception. This was incredible.
Yeah, very nice play. We just took a look, and I think it was Frosty mentioning where my Trey Ford peeps. Of course, Trey Ford is Tyrell's twin brother, quarterback of the Edmonton Elks. Tyrell Ford, the Blue Bombers burner, incredibly fast defensive back with his first career CFL interception after spending last year waiting for another NFL opportunity. So he's a rookie essentially. It's his first pro season coming out of the University of Waterloo. But
good for him, eh?
Yeah.
He really got exposed in the first game against Montreal. I thought he really struggled against Philpott. The last 3 games, he's been excellent.
Great question from Everett Left, watching live on YouTube. What's going on, Everett? Haven't seen you in the live chat before. Welcome around the bonfire. Really appreciate you stopping by. Everett asks, do the Bombers gain salary cap space with so much money being on the injured list with Lawler and Schoen? How does that work in the CFL? So if a player is placed on the 6-game injured list and they spend 6 games on the 6-game injured list, then Winnipeg or that team would have that salary cap savings. So Schoen being done for the season, he did play a couple games, but effectively his entire salary is coming off the books. If Kenny Lawler misses 6 games with a broken arm, probably will, his salary will come off the books for 6 games. 6 games, by the way, is 1/3 of their game schedule. They play 18 games, 6 being 1/3 of that. So they will get a good savings on that. Players on the 1-game injured list, that is not a salary cap savings. If a player comes off the 6-game injured list early, that is not a salary cap savings. And there is a maximum amount of times, I believe it still is 2 times you can bring a player off the 6-game injured list early. 4 weeks is the earliest a player on the 6-game injured list can return to practicing. And then if you want them to stay on and get the salary cap savings, they do need to miss, I think it is 5 of the 6 games on the 6-game injured list. But of course, everything being prorated and all that fancy stuff. But just for layman terms, you get salary cap savings when those players are on the 6.
Yeah.
Where was I? I was on, Game Ball. How about this? Here's your guy. Jam Sheehan. Snap way outside, but he tucks it and runs because he just had all day. Here's the way I see it as we continue to watch this. Yes, the snap was off, okay? But he collects it quickly. Really good hands from the kicker. There's Mike Miller, absolutely fired up for his punter with a great catch.
That was awesome.
Watch this. Watch Jam Sheehan snag this. Incredible catch. Whoop! One-hander. That's an Australian punter with hands like Kenny Lawler. And picks up the first down. But Sheehan had time to kick it.
I know. But he saw the field.
Was it designed?
I don't know.
3rd and 7 on their own 43. It's a little bit risky, but it is it's a 2-point ball game. And sometimes the unexpected is when you need it. But he could have easily, like, look, he collects the ball. It's like, holy shit at this point, right? And he could kick it here.
Yeah,
He doesn't.
he could kick it on the run easily. As an Australian punter can kick it on the run easily.
But
It's
he
nothing.
doesn't. He's like,
No.
I see that first down marker. I'm taking it.
Yeah, good on him.
Well done. You can tell. That's an Aussie punter that played in the NCAA. He knows.
I don't think that's designed. I think it was a bad snap, and he just saw daylight. I think he looked up. Yeah, that would be my guess. I could be wrong.
Hey, love seeing Mike Miller fired up like that. I used to call him the killer. But now I know
you can't call him that.
I have to
Coach Miller. Coach Miller. You know, honestly, that could have been a bonfire burning point had the Bombers come back and won that game, but unfortunately, they did not.
They did not. They did not, unfortunately.
So he's your game ball, Sheehan?
I'm giving one to Sheehan, yeah.
Okay. Any other one, Darren, or just the one ball?
That's all I got.
Yeah.
Yeah, how about you?
I'm gonna give one to Strevy. I just love Strevy. He had 170 yards. He had a touchdown. He had a pick. Lost them the game, but that's okay. You know, he's not your starting quarterback.
Lost them the game, and you're giving him a game ball.
It's lost them the game. I'm not saying Strevy lost them the game. I think he's your back. Exactly.
Okay.
A play he made.
Now I'm closing my eyes for a meditative moment.
Yeah, meditate on that. He didn't lose on the game. I thought he acquitted himself pretty well. You know, he doesn't get starters reps all week in the practice week there. Yes.
Maybe acquainted himself? If he acquitted himself, then you can't blame him.
I don't blame him. What are you talking about?
He acquitted himself. Man,
he acquitted him. That's a turn of phrase. He acquitted himself well. Have you heard that before?
Acquainted himself well.
Did I just? No, it's not acquainted yourself well. That acquainted yourself? I mean, you get to know yourself better?
I can't believe the biggest debate you and I are having on this postgame is acquitted or acquainted.
Yeah,
that's what happens
seriously.
when teams own 4.
We should start arguing about our golf game like two of the octogenarians down south in the debates. But I thought he did well. I thought given the circumstances he came on, the way Calgary was playing him, I thought Strevy did pretty well. He orchestrates he acquits himself to orchestrate the game-tying drive, Darren. Game-tying drive, right? Like he had us in position, 170 yards. I don't think he was markedly worse than Collaros, and he's the backup. So I'll give him a game ball. That strike to Wolotarski that he pulled off the turf was a thing of beauty. And then my other game ball is going to go to Tyrell Ford. I thought that I know it's a sexy play. It's an interception, but I believe that was the Bombers. They've had another interception, but I think it was
$1 million idea. Maybe $100.
Joey. For those of you listening, Joey Slattery, our buddy, says, can we get a meditate on that on a Bonfire t-shirt? Yeah, I love it. I thought that was an incredible interception by Tyrell Ford. The way he broke on that ball, and just he basically stole it out of the breadbasket of I don't know which receiver it was, Darren. Maybe you remember, but I thought that was exceptional. And for a guy that really struggled in game 1, I think game 2, game 3, game 4, he's been really good.
Yep, that's fair.
So I'll give him a game ball.
Okay. I only had the one game ball. Some people mentioning Adam Bighill for 900. I like that. I'll give a game ball to the great people at Pure Winnipeg. It's the city's premier proactive healthcare facility, advancing healthcare excellence. Whether you got a strain, a sprain, a break, a deep cut, Pure has got you covered with their minimal wait time minor injury walk-in clinic. Brand new. They're at 1129 Empress Street, just north of Polo Park at the end of Empress. Whether job site injury or sports-related pain, Pure's new medical facilities have in-house x-ray, casting, stitches, and everything you need that will get you back to enjoying summer in no time. You can book them online, purewinnipeg.com, or give them a call, 204-338-PURE, and they'll take care of you. Beautiful gym facility there as well. They're awesome people. And I noticed actually in our live chat just the other day, Schnitzy, or not the live chat, pardon me, in the comments section. This is what somebody said. They said, couldn't tune in live today to the pregame show, Game Day Winnipeg, with myself and Chris Walby. I agree. Injuries are adding up for this team, but this is a team that can overcome those injuries. Will it be this week? Well, it wasn't, but this is what they went on to say. FYI, I went to Pure's walk-in. It was absolutely the best experience. Glad I checked it out. That's from Mischievous Wolf on YouTube,
Nice.
which is just awesome to hear. Hey, go check them out. purewinnipeg.com. Physiotherapy, occupational therapy, strength conditioning. They got kinesiologists, all types of therapists, mental health, physical health. They got you covered. So go check them out. Really good people. Really, really good people I've worked with there.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I've gone there too in the past, and I know lots of people who go there. It's great. They have a variety of services, and if you don't want to get in line at 5:30 in the morning at the Pan Am clinic, right, for your sports injury
Emerge.
stuff, yeah, it's rough to get in there, and it's kind of like a zoo. So check out Pure. That's a really great option for Winnipeggers to have.
Everybody in the live chat was awesome tonight. If you didn't get my facetiousness, hit the thumbs up. If you aren't, subscribe. If you can't subscribe, it's because you need to log in. So sign up, get yourself a YouTube account, enjoy. And because all these little things that you can do, it's just like click, click, and you're done. Help us so much as a small channel in Little Winnipeg. We're scrappy. We are lunchbox and hard hat and hauling water every single day to bring you guys a little bit of a community that we can come here and talk some football, talk some hockey, and get into it all. Got plans to do a lot more here on the channel. And Schnitzy, I know you're out at the lake right now. I hope you have a great weekend because in the end, the Bombers may be 0-4, but there are so many good things for us to still appreciate. It's just a football game.
It is just a game, and the game, as I've gotten older and wiser, Darren, and I don't live and die with each Bomber play and game as I used to anymore. I still live and breathe Bombers, but when they lose, I used to be depressed for days. The Bombers, I think, they're an excuse for you to get together with your friends and family. They're an excuse for you to have something to talk about with your friends and family or colleagues. Try and find the joy in it that's outside of winning and losing. I don't want to get too philosophical here or meditate too much because Slattery will make us a t-shirt, but it really, the wins and losses, when you win, when your team wins, it's amazing, right? It's an amazing feeling, especially if they haven't won. I mean, if they win next week, I will be over the moon. Our post-game show will be 5 hours long, Darren. Don't get me wrong. At the same time, think about who you get to watch with. It's an excuse to get together, eat and drink, and have something to talk about and chat on here. And it's all in good fun, right? And hats off to Calgary. They've had a couple of miserable years. It looks like Maier is back on his game a little bit. The Maier we saw when he first came into the season in Winnipeg. And it was 16 for 16 in that first half in 2021, I believe it was. Mm-hmm. He's looked good. So credit to them. And the Bomber, credit with all the injuries, buddy. We almost pulled this one out. And that would have been an amazing send-off to the Canada Day weekend.
Yeah, absolutely. Somebody in the live chat here mentioning that Pure sounds like a private health facility. They do have private services, but you can have your GP there. Same public health, coverage as you would get at any other medical clinic. They just have other services. It is a hugely dynamic facility, right? They have a lot more than just a medical clinic, right? With all their different therapists and services there. So not entirely private. You can get your public healthcare services there as well. So give them a call and find more online, purewinnipeg.com. Big thanks to them for sponsoring Bonfire Sports and Game Day After Dark, as well as Scotswood Links. Go check them out. Enjoy them through the long weekend, or if you head out there in an evening, beautiful twilight golf out in the country. I always enjoy that a heck of a lot. But we're going to come back next week. We're going to do this again. The Bombers in action at home on July, just double checking, July 5th, home to the Ottawa Red Blacks. So we will get Game Day Winnipeg, your pregame show with myself and the legend, number 63, Chris Walby, going the day before. And then you, Schnitzy, will join me on your race home from the Madhouse on Matheson. Still a big party down there. You'll
absolutely.
join me for Game Day After Dark.
We're gonna party like it's 2012 next week. We're not 0-4, buddy. Hey, could I just do a shout out to Walby here? I know he's I'm a member of the team. I'm a member of the channel that has Chris Walby. I feel very lucky to be in this channel with Chris Walby. But I want to say, like, Chris Walby, people think of him as a guy who loves to drink beer and have a good time and has all these great stories. He even sings. This guy is prepared.
Oh, man.
Like, he's a pro, man. You should, if you haven't checked out the pregame, I love your Game Day Winnipeg pregame with Chris Walby. He is he not only reads all the stats and reads all the articles and all the media from Winnipeg, he will read all the stats from the opposing team. He knows what the coaches think of some of the even second string players on the other team. Like he prepares. He's a professional.
Back to our TSN days with me, Walby, Westwood, and Blue Bomber Game Day Winnipeg, and all of those things. People used to always say, like, oh, you get to watch the games with Chris Walby and Troy Westwood. Like imagine how much you're learning about the game. And like, how much has Chris Walby taught you about football? And I go, he's taught me a lot, but not as much as he's taught me about broadcasting. People forget.
Yeah.
He called 10 Grey Cups on CBC.
Yeah.
Nearly 2 decades as a player, nearly 2 decades as a broadcaster as well. So it was the preparation, the notes, the work, the analysis, just the work that Chris Walby has put in and continues to put in. Never ceases to amaze me. Now we're able to pull up video highlights that he can break down on the pregame show.
That was awesome.
On the postgame show. We have a blast doing it. He's so jacked to do it. We're looking for a beer sponsor because who wouldn't want their beer in the hand of the legendary beer lover, Chris Walby? But whatever your business is, you want to get your message out, give us a shout. The Bonfire hotline, 204-816-TIPS, 816-8477. Or you can always email winnipeg@bonfiresports.ca. If you want more information, we can have a quick call and talk about getting your message out to these thousands of amazing fans who come back every single week for the pregame, for the postgame, for interviews that I do with Big Hill and Collaros and Streveler and Dietrich Nichols and all these, Willie Jefferson and all these amazing Blue Bombers fans. And then we'll have some hockey too coming up in the fall. So, we're gonna have a lot of fun. I hope all you can join us for the ride.
Hey, before we go, just you mentioned hockey. I didn't have a chance to check any news. Was there anything the Jets did today?
Well, they made
in terms of trades or
moves. They did draft. They had a handful of draft picks, right?
Okay, but they didn't move Ehlers. They didn't move McRoarty or anything.
No.
Okay.
I'll touch on this right now. Okay. A report comes out that McRoarty wants to be traded because he doesn't think he's going to get his shot from the Winnipeg Jets to play with the big club. To me, this is a leverage move made by an agent. Okay. They are putting pressure on the Jets to make a decision, whether it's move McRoarty or sign him and ensure that he is,
excuse me,
bless you, ensure that Rutger McRoarty is going to be in the NHL lineup this coming season. And I think, like, you can put all the pressure on you want. It gets the fans, it gets the media types, it gets everybody talking and in a bit of a froth. But Winnipeg ultimately still has Rutger McRoarty's rights for 2 more years, and like at least 2 more years. So will a move be made? I don't know if it's a for sure thing, but this is definitely a negotiation tactic, right?
Yeah.
So
interesting take. Yeah.
Yeah. That's my 2 cents. But what do I know? Hey, I got
What
told
do you know? You're
to
just
stick to football so many times this week because I was talking Jets on Rod Peterson's show. Holy man.
why did you
Like
get told to stick to You write for NHL.com.
It's almost like it's almost like I watch a hockey game once in a while, or like all of them.
You listen. I'm excited for your stuff on the Jets on Bonfire. I think it's a unique product. I'm proud to be a part of it, even if I am just an idiot fan who doesn't know the difference between a bad run game and just stacking the box. Darrin, you're gonna have to watch this game again, and we'll see. Were they stacking the box the whole game?
Think you're gonna have to watch this game again.
Oh, buddy.
We'll watch it together.
Oh, we'll watch it together. That'd be fun. 0-4, man. It sucks. I'm just gonna be honest. It really sucks as a fan. It sucks.
Yep. Tough times in Bomberland, but I wouldn't write this team off. 0-4. Go check out my interview with Adam Bighill from this past week on the channel. He was a member of the 2011 BC Lions, where he was a rookie. Never lost 5 games in his whole life in one season. Lost his first 5 games as a professional, and was stumpified. Is that a word? I don't know.
Stupefied.
Yes, stupefied.
But I like stumpified too. That's kind of a portmanteau word, a Lewis Carroll word. Yeah. I like that.
But what happened with the 2011 BC Lions? They won 12 straight games. They were easily the best team in the CFL. They beat the Blue Bombers in Vancouver, home turf, for the Grey Cup Championship in 2011. Andrew Harris part of that team as well, and really dominant team. But they were talking about firing Wally Buono, and they got to move this guy and change this. And well, they turned it around after an 0-5 start. I don't think Winnipeg wants to be compared to them, maybe beyond this fleeting thought or these fleeting storylines. But I mean, they don't want to be compared by getting to 0-5. So we'll see how they do this coming week against the Ottawa Red Black. Schnitzy, always leave it up to you for a sign off here on Game Day After Dark. But thanks to the hundreds and hundreds, well over 1,000 that have tuned in to the postgame show live tonight, and obviously all of you watching afterwards.
Sayonara, everybody. It's always a pleasure.